Hello and welcome to another live lesson with me, Richie, and welcome to AM Language. As always, please, if you're watching us later or even watching live, please look at the live chat. That is how you can follow the content in this lesson and in all our daily live lessons. So make sure you look at the live chat. Evelina, buono pomeriggio. Good afternoon. Irina F, good afternoon. Welcome to today's live lesson. Thank you very much for joining. In today's lesson, we are going to look at problem solving, how to solve problems in English, and we're going to look at a particular subject, career paths. A lot of things about career paths these days can be a little bit difficult when thinking about the actual problem of career development. So we are going to look at that, and we're going to look at phrases, we're going to look at language of how we can go about talking about problems. And it's in relation to do with what do we do? What jobs, what type of, how do we see our career developing and all the rest of it? So we are going to look at that type of problem today. And given the circumstances in the world with coronavirus, I think this is an appropriate topic to talk about because with so much uncertainty and change and all the rest of it, being able to talk about careers is a very good thing to be able to do in English. Leondina, buono pomeriggio as well. Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. As a little, where is it? Can't forget my water. Just as a little recap for this week, we've looked at quite a few topics. This week we've looked at more sort of grammar in terms of grammar, I would say. We had Monday, what's the meaning of the text? That was a bit more fluency. Tuesday, what are finite verbs? Wednesday, what are non-finite verbs? Yesterday we looked at phrases to raise ideas and suggestions. It wasn't a particularly difficult one. It was going with what if, what about, might we do this, might we do that. So nothing completely new there, I would imagine, for many people, but for some people, maybe. And then today, how to solve problems in English in relation to career development. As always, if you're watching this later, you can fast forward the first 5 minutes because it usually takes us about 5 minutes to get into things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Please let me know, by the way, guys, in terms of what sort of careers you are, what your career is. You can give me the umbrella of the actual thing. So, for instance, I mean, that's a good one to know, by the way, the umbrella term. When we use the term umbrella, oops, I forgot to put that in. The umbrella term is the what we would call the job field. So that's the umbrella term. So education. So if you are a teacher, for example, you come under the umbrella term of education. If you are some kind of engineer, maybe you are like, for instance, you're to do with anything. Engineering is an umbrella term for anything to do with construction. Medicine is obviously the umbrella term for, jobs like nursing, doctors, surgeons, you name it. So that's the umbrella term. So feel free to share with me the umbrella term for your job field, what type of work you are in these days. So let's get started. Career path. Okay. Now, the first thing that we need to understand by the word path. Path has a physical noun. It's where you walk in the woods. But when we use it like this, we of course mean direction. Career path means career direction. Where are we going? What are we trying to accomplish? And all the rest of it. So the first thing that we need to do is, before we even begin to discuss sort of things of like problem solving or anything like that, let's go in with this typical question. And it's a type of question you can get in a job interview. Let's see what you guys answer. If you don't know what your answer is, you can just tell me, I don't know. That's fine. But this is a typical job question. If you were to go for a job interview, which is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Now, I remember being asked this question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Um, I remember being asked this question. I was asked this question when I finished university. I was asked this question when I went for an internship in London. I was asked this question when I worked in Edinburgh in Scotland. I've been asked this question many times actually, and when I was younger, I always found it a little bit difficult to answer because I don't know the future, and that's the thing. We don't know the future. So let me know if you have an idea how to answer this question. If you don't know how to answer the question, just tell me you don't know how to answer this question. I wouldn't be okay. Alida, buenos dias, where you are, and good afternoon. So, yeah, let me know where you see your. Let me know if you know how to answer this question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And then we'll get into the problem solving in terms of thinking about career paths, career development, and we'll look at some very specific terminology, that certain words that we need to know when we are talking about careers, our jobs. What I would say are words that are going to be a must know actually on this subject. So let's just see if any of you have an idea in terms of how to answer this question. If you don't, just tell me, nah, you don't know how to answer this question. Now, one thing, by the way, guys, it's always good to interact in the live chat section. That will always tell me more, and it will help me actually help you. It lets me know what your level is, because I can have a good idea by looking at what you're writing. It will also tell me if I'm speaking too quickly as well. Sergio says hello, Sergio, and welcome to today's afternoon. To lessons. Sorry, I'll say that again. Welcome to today's lesson this fine afternoon. Okay, it is a Friday as well, and it is, well, where I am, it's fine weather. It's good weather. Okay. Now, in terms of this, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? For me, in the past, I always thought I had to give like a specific answer. So 5 years ago, no, not 5 years ago, in the past, I would have answered something like this. In 5 years, in 5 years, uh, in 5 years, yeah, in 5 years' time, I would suppose, in 5 years' time, I see myself being X, and working for this company. For example, I think if I go back in time, I think that was probably my answer, and it's a terrible answer. Sergio says hello, and it's 37 degrees where he is. Okay, well, that, if it's Celsius, that's hot. Leondina says, I don't know really, but surely closer to retirement. Leondina, if you can retire in 5 years, well done. Retirement is always something to look forward to whenever that may be. I know there are some people who wanted to retire young. Alida says, the foggiest idea where I'm going to, I don't have, you need to put have, I don't have the foggiest idea where I'm going to be. Yes, the foggiest is a really good term as well. Foggiest means I don't know where to begin. I have no idea. Well, for me these days, I know answer this question very differently, because this is the first bit of problem solving. How to solve problems in English, no matter what your level is. Let's start off at the very beginning. And this is to do with this subject here, but you can easily translate it, okay, over to other subjects and other problems. The first thing we need to do is, what's the problem? Or what are the problems? So let's start off with this. I'm going to suggest one or two things, and please come in, join the conversation, and tell me what other problems you can think of. Okay. Evelina agrees. I don't know really. So let's all join in here and think of all the problems why this is a question that's difficult to answer. First of all, I think the first one that I can think of is, okay, I don't know the future. I think that's the first one that comes to mind as a problem. This is a problem because I can't answer this question because I don't know the future. That's the first problem. Let me know if you can think of other problems with the question, because this is an unfair question if we try to be specific. I think another problem, if we want to begin to get a little bit more detail in terms of this, is, for instance, I don't know where I will be living, for example. This might be a potential problem. If you've always lived in the same place, or you're married with a family, then maybe you might have a good idea that you might still be in the same place. However, myself, for example, I have to be honest. I don't know where I will be living. I don't know where I will be. So I think this is another problem. And this is the first thing we need to do. Before we attempt to solve a problem, we need to know what we need to think of all the problems, or as many of the problems that we can think of. I think the other element that I can think of is probably to do with is more of a question, which is, how much control do I really have? And I think this is an important one to think about when you're thinking about career development, whether you're coming to the end of your career or whether you're at the start of your career. It's that question really, how much control do I really have? And I think this is an important one, to know what you can be responsible for. Sergio says, I hope to be working in Ireland. Sergio, that's a really good goal to have. I think and I think you're right to use the word hope. Hope is a good word to use because it's showing that, okay, that's the idea. It might not happen, but that's the idea. You will notice as well, when answering this question, we've got to think about our modal verbs, and can we ever really use the present continuous? Probably not. Very difficult. So I agree with that. So let's think of this, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. What is in your control? Let's start off with that. So now we've had an idea. We can think of the problems that we can think of problems with answering this question. So now let's move on to stage 2. And this is the same thing that you can do. Doesn't matter what the topic is. First, number 1, what are the problems? 2, what are we in control of? So what is in our control when it comes to careers? Put your ideas in the live chat. Tell me, what do you think is in your control? What do you have actual power over? And I think this is the important thing, because again, we're going back step by step process. This is why, if you follow this process, You don't need to have the best English in the world to follow it. It's one, what are the problems? Two, what are we in control of? Evelina says, I don't know where I will be living. I often think of leaving my country. I know you mean think of leaving my country. Well, Evelina, a lot of people are in your position at the moment. I think the majority of people I know my age, now my birthday is coming up. I'm going to be 33 in the next sort of 9 days or so. And I think that's a common thing that I would say I hear from people, especially in the early 30s, late 20s. There is this sort of feeling of I don't know, and I don't know if I'm going to be in the same country. A lot of people do think about leaving their home country and going to a different country. And I think that's one of the first things that we can say we are in control of. One, we are in control of where we choose to live in terms of country. Okay, I think that's an important thing in terms of country. So I think when it comes to country and maybe even city, depends really on where the job is. But I think we do have a good amount of control over where we choose to live, which means I think number two, we are in, we do have, let's go. Actually, let me ask you this. What's the difference between this sentence? We uh, we are in control. We are in control with who we spend time with. We are in, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. Which one is stronger? We are in control, or we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. You could easily change that with whom we spend time. But for the sake of this, we're just going to go with that version. What do you think? Is there a difference between strength? Which one do you think might be stronger? We are in control. We do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. Which one do you think might be a little bit stronger? There is a slight difference, and it does have an emphasis on how you say it and how much you stress it as well. The second sentence. So Leondina thinks the second sentence, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. Okay, let's see if people agree with. Because I am going to add a pronunciation element to this, because the way we say this one will make a difference. Do you guys agree with Leondina? And then I'm going to introduce the pronunciation, the intonation of saying this sentence. So I'll give you guys just a couple more seconds, and then we'll have a look at the way you say it. And we'll look at it, which one's stronger, which one's weaker. Okay, so let's go with intonation A, okay? Intonation A. Which one is stronger? This is intonation A. Which one is stronger? Is it number one or is it number two? Is it we are in control with who we spend time with, or is it the other one? So let me just put this in here again so it's clearer. So this will be number one. Alida agrees with Leondina that it's going to be number two. We will see if both of you are correct. Okay. So let's have a little listen to this. I don't know why it put in AM language there. It doesn't need to have AM language in afterwards. I think YouTube just did that. Anyway, let's have a little look. The intonation. So number one, number two. This is intonation pattern A. Which one is stronger, one or two? We are in control with who we spend time with. We do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. So I'll do that again. Number one, we are in control with who we spend time with. Number two, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. Evelina says, maybe I'm not strong enough to make a decision. You never know. By the end of it, we'll see. So which one do you think was stronger that time round? Okay, was it one or two? Two. Yes, two was stronger that time. Now, intonation B. Okay, so you can hear the difference. Is it still number two? Is it still number two that is stronger? We are in control who we spend time with. Number two, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. I'll do it again. We are in control with who we spend time with. Number two, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. So this time round, is number two still stronger, or do you think it's weaker? Is it stronger or is it weaker? Which one do you think? So we've got, I'll say it again as well. Number one, we are in control with who we spend time with. And number two, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. Intonation B, is number two still stronger or is it weaker? Leondina thinks two is still stronger. Alida, Sergio, do you agree with Leondina? Is two still stronger than number one? What do you guys think? Evelina agrees that it's number two. Okay, I'll explain the answer here. Second time round, intonation. So you all think two is still stronger. Intonation B. Now you were right first time round. Number one, okay, A. Intonation pattern A, okay. Did I get that right actually? Where's intonation pattern A? Intonation pattern A, okay, two was stronger. Two was stronger. Okay, so intonation pattern A, two was stronger. Intonation B, on the other hand, two was weaker. This is to do with how strong and how quickly we say something. So if I say, we do have control, and I say, we do have control. If I stretch out the have, and I'm not showing, I'm not saying it with the same sort of strength, I'm making it weaker. I am making it weaker. So if I stretch it out, we do have control. This have can be seen as weaker. It's not as strong as saying we do have. We do have control. We do have control. If we say we do have control, that is strong. But if I suddenly put more emphasis on have, I might be making it weaker. And in the way I'm doing it, I am making it weaker. We do have control. We do have control there's a slight difference in intonation pattern here. So it can be made weaker. However, if we think about it, we do need to think about what we have control over. So what do we have control over? Okay, so we've said travel, we said where we intonation, so it only depends on intonation. Yes, Leondina, intonation makes a really big difference in terms of what people mean sometimes. If we read the grammar, we'll think one thing, but the intonation pattern can really make a difference in terms of how much they mean. Alida says, so it's the way you make the intonation, not the way it's written. Yes, Alida, that is it. And this is something to be aware of. The intonation pattern. This is why when people text, there's a lot of things that are missed, because you could say, if you read that normally, okay, we do have control when it comes to who we spend time with. That is strong, and normally, grammatically speaking, that is strong. However, the intonation pattern in the way someone says it can make it weak, and that has hidden meaning. And that is why speaking and the intonation pattern can make a difference. It can make such a difference that the intonation pattern does not always match the grammar being used. And that's a really big difference. I'll give you one, because I do want to continue with what I'm talking about here, but I'm just going to give you another example. Okay, I'm going to go with a simple example here. If you work hard, you get promoted. This is a zero conditional. This is certain. This is 100%. And if you write it, people will understand it to be 100%. This is a fact sort of thing. But I can make a difference to this meaning by the way I say it. If I say with strength, if you work hard, you get promoted, then that has a lot of strong meaning. That if I suddenly say, if you work hard, you get promoted. If you work hard, you get promoted. I don't sound confident. And it's the intonation that shows confidence or lack of. This is the really important thing. The intonation of confidence will make a difference to the meaning. So much so that the grammar being used can sometimes, it doesn't match the intonation the person has used. The person doesn't have confidence in what they are saying. And that is why intonation makes a really big difference. And you can't put that in, you can't show that in a text message easily. You have to change your grammar. But people don't change their grammar all the time when they speak, which will happen in any language. So this is the important thing. We do have to listen out for that sort of thing. So I hope that makes it clear. This doesn't change the grammar, but it changes what we're saying. We have control over the acts, says Sergio. Yes, we have control over what we do, over how we act. And I think there's another thing here. We have control over what skills we choose to develop. And I think this is a really big one. When it goes back to answering this question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I think in order to understand this question and in order to answer the question of career path, it's about skill development. We have control over what skills we choose to develop. And the logic is this: whatever whatever skills we choose to develop will, I don't want to use the word dictate, but will have a major, so serious, big, will have a major impact on the options and opportunities in the future. And this is what I want to get at above all else, okay? Because this is the beginning to solving the problem. Opportunities. There we go. Okay, because this is the key to unlock the problem. Skill development in terms of career development. So whatever skills we choose to develop will have a major impact. So it really will be strong on the options and opportunities in the future. This is the thing we do have control over. And this is the answer to solve the problem, because it leads us on to the next question to solve the problem. So let's just recap. We've asked, what are the problems? Number 2, what is in our control? So it now leads on to number 3, what to develop? Skills. So in this case, we can now think, okay, what skills do I want to develop? Now, this comes on to what you guys are doing. One of the skills you wish to develop is speaking English. By speaking English, you know that more job opportunities, more life opportunities can become available. That's one of the reasons for learning a language. It's a skill development. It opens more doors to you in the future. It's about opening doors. And that is the key to unlock the problem of this question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Well, that depends. What skills do I want to develop? So all of you are wanting to develop skills in terms of English. So we can put that down as skills, okay? Let me know what skills you want to develop. What skills do you want to develop, let's say, over the next year, 2020 to 2021? We can put English down because you're all here learning English. Let's see. Sergio says, the problem today is few opportunities in Brazil. So there we have, Sergio. There are few opportunities in Brazil. That was a good sentence. That's fine. So the answer to the problem is, okay, if there aren't good opportunities in Brazil, are there opportunities in other countries? If yes, what language do I need to learn to help me get those jobs? In this case, English. Now, I can tell you that in Malta, there is a large Brazilian community that have made that jump. I think there's something like 5,000 Brazilians living in Malta today. I think there's something like 7,000 Russians, for example, who live in Malta today. There are, I don't know how many English people who live in Malta. There are a lot of Venezuelans now, actually, in Brazil, in Malta. A good number of people from Venezuela, because of the situation in Venezuela, moved to other countries, and Malta ended up being one of those countries. And they came to Malta and they learned English. It's a skill that helps them to get a new job. Same with Colombians. There's quite a lot of Colombians now. There's a lot of Spanish people, actually, as well. There's quite a few French people, and amazingly, quite a lot of South Korean and Japanese people as well. A lot of people do come to Malta, and they think maybe they will go on to other countries, but many end up staying because it is a very comfortable place to be. It's a very social place to be. It's a place that it's not difficult to enjoy life in Malta. And it's easy to meet people. It's easy to make friends, and the lifestyle for most of the year is it's very easygoing. But it starts off with the problem solving of right. For instance, Brazil at the moment is not a great place to be. What skills do I need? English being one. Let me know, guys. Alida, maybe Evelina, Leondina, Arena F. What other skills would you like to develop that will help you in the future, that can perhaps open more doors to you? Is there a university degree that can help you? Is it to do with computers, maybe? Um, do you think you'll need to do certain courses? Or maybe there's something different. Maybe you're thinking of really making a massive change. Um, I'll give you an example. I have a friend, a very, very good friend of mine, who works for British Airways. And he's a very clever guy. But he is now going through a change. He's had a very good career working in the airline travel business industry, sorry, but he's now doing a course to learn about marine biology because he likes scuba diving and he likes animals. He's developing himself in a different way. Evelina says, knowing how to speak English is a job opportunity everywhere because all employers want me to speak English. This is true. Speaking English is becoming more and more of a requirement. Um, for instance, there's one country, Germany. If you move to Germany, you need to speak English. You'll need to learn German, but you will need to know how to speak English as well. It's also a requirement now in many other countries. I know Italy, for many jobs in Italy now, there is a requirement. You need to speak both Italian and English. It's the same in um, it's the same now in Spain, in many parts of Spain, not all of Spain, but particularly in certain parts of Spain, that's now becoming more of a thing. In many parts of France, that is also a thing. So it's becoming more and more of a requirement. So that's the process. So it doesn't matter what level of English um, your level of English is so much. Just remember this is the three stages of how to go about solving problems in English. First, and I'll do it again. First, talk about what the problems are. Okay, it's no different from your own language, but we just need to know how can we let's not forget. It will help you it will help you with your English to remember this stage process because it's easy to get lost. It's easy to get lost in your own language, let alone speak English. So that's number one. Number two, what are we in control of? Number three, what do we want to develop? What action can we take, for example? All of these are really, really important steps. And this is the three steps that you guys can do. And just remember to do it in English. That's all. Um, Sergio says, I agree, Evelina. I'm trying my citizenship from Italy. I want to move to Ireland because I went there and it's lovely. Ireland is lovely. Ireland is a nice place. Okay, guys. So that brings us to conclude this week in terms of this. I do want to spend just 5 minutes talking about next week in terms of things that we can look at. This week has been a little bit of a mix. So if there's a particular subject or question you have in mind, please let me know in the live chat section. Sergio says, so my career path is into warehouse. Warehouse, okay, so logistics. Sounds like there's an element of logistics there, Sergio. Okay, guys, so let me know what you would like to look at next week. I am going to put down from now mixed conditionals. Now, we haven't looked at mixed conditionals before. We have looked at conditionals, but I know we've never looked at mixed conditionals. So we will look at mixed conditionals. One topic I was thinking about, because I know lots of people want to know how to talk about it, uh, is language when talking about relationships. Um, if that's something that you would like me to do, let me know. Because I do know that it comes up now and again, because it is well, people do like to think about it. So those are two ideas already for next week. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like me to look at next week. I do want to try and make it a mix between lower and higher levels. I think one of the things that I haven't looked at in a while, but I would like to develop with you guys, is more discourse markers. Okay, it's to do with writing and how to link different ideas together. This can be a bit difficult, linking ideas together. So I am suggesting that. However, if you want me to look at something else, can do. Okay, so we've got discourse markers. If there's a particular grammar point you would like me to look at, I'm more happy to do so. I haven't looked at the passive. I haven't looked at the passive for a long time, and I know people do struggle with the passive. We've looked at punctuation in the past, but we can always develop that. I haven't looked at any debating language, actually. So if you would like me to do so, I can look at debating language with you. So if you want to be able to follow debates, and if you yourself would like to know how to debate in English, now debate is when you talk about different ideas. And usually these are ideas where people will disagree on. Maybe we can do that. Alida says, sorry, I have Wi-Fi problems today. I have a few minutes or delay. Difficult to participate. Don't worry about that, Alida. I'm sorry to hear that you've had Wi-Fi problems today. Hopefully that'll be better next week. So yes, debating language. Now, this is something by the way, I would say this: don't watch the American debating election at the moment. You will not learn anything from it, especially in terms of English. It's not good for English. That's not a good example of how to debate. But debating ideas is really important, and I would like to have a little look at that. If you guys would like to have a go at doing that, it can be a little bit more difficult. And then I was thinking about topics again. So we've got a little bit of fluency and we've got a little bit of accuracy as well. I do also want to look at error correction. Okay, now error correction is to do with mistakes that we can make, and it's how to correct those mistakes when you are the student and you don't have a teacher. How can we go about trying to see what the mistake might be? So I think if we have a look at error correction, that can be good. But like I said, guys, in the comment section below after the lesson or in the live chat, just let me know if there are any specific topics you would like me to cover, or language points. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for joining me this week at AM Language for our live lessons. Next week, I'll be back same time again, Monday to Friday, every day at 4 o'clock Maltese time. So to all of you who participated today, thank you very much. Teacher CVs. Oh, no, Sia. Sorry. Okay, so the teacher. So Sergio says, Sia. Arena says, thanks for the lesson, Richard. Have a good weekend. You too, Arena F. Valina says, bye and have a nice weekend. You too. And Sergio, you as well. Alida, I'm going to say goodbye as well. Thank you for participating. I know your Wi-Fi has not worked very well today, but thank you nonetheless for participating and watching. So guys, if you're new, subscribe or please share with friends. And as always, if you want to find out how you can have live lessons, physical lessons in Malta, click on the link below to take you to our website. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend and bye for now. Thank you. Leondina says, thank you, Richard, and have a nice weekend. You too, Leondina. And yeah, bye for now, everyone. Take care and be safe.